Rick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, baby.
Dude, it's so good to see you.
It's
I
great to
love
see
this
you.
shirt. It looks great on you.
Well, we're in Hawaii, so I wanted to make sure we looked the part, right? That's why you wore gray and a black cap.
Right? I don't look Hawaiian at all. I know I need to get with it, man.
No, man, it's cool. It's cool. This is a little more color than I like, because it's a little perky for me.
Right.
But I'm feeling pretty perky.
You look Hawaiian, man, like a beach guy, just like a healthy athlete
Be
out there
careful.
on the bench.
Be careful.
I know. You got a soul patch rolling. Dude, you look great, man.
No, baby, come on now. I miss you. We haven't been together for a while. You were back east, and I was gone for a while myself, so that we haven't connected in a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, man. Rick and I talk over the phone or do an email exchange, quite often, like at least once a week, and we'll send each other something that we're reading. But, to be in person, we come together for the podcast. And so this has been a few weeks, man.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so you went back east, right?
Yeah, I went to the South, yeah.
Yeah, man. How long has it been since you've been back?
Last time I went back, it was 4 years ago. I went back for a family reunion, but to be really back there, not since my childhood. And what I mean by that, be there present, enjoying it, things like that.
Wow. Did you have to make a mental change to go back and do that? Because you stayed away for 4 years, so I imagine there's some reason why you did.
Yeah, reasons and excuses, too much work, busy, things like that, which all are just excuses for not having gone back. But we're going to talk a little bit about going back and and how you show up now to places and people from your past. So may I give the title for today's show?
Yeah. Go.
Okay. Today's show is Overcoming Your Past, and so it is, I guess, appropriate that I'm returning from a trip to my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee.
My gosh. Well, I'm anxious to hear about, obviously you said that it's going to be a very difficult thing for you to go back and admit to yourself that you were basically lying about not going back. And then I'd like to know what the underlying reasons were. What was it that kept you from going back? What didn't you like about it? What kept pushing you away from going back to your home roots?
I think what, over the last few years, why I didn't go back to the last 4 years, the reason that I used was, just trying to build a business up and things like that. All of which, if I had the real desire and I guess the presence and understanding and consciousness, I would have gone back a lot sooner and not use that as an excuse or a reason not to go back, because I'm really finding that those connections really, really matter a lot.
Were you almost to the point where you were going to abandon them, that there wasn't that much importance to you anymore with that?
No, you mean in terms of going back?
Yeah, like your family. Did you just sort of give up on that or think that there was a limit to how much they could help you now as an adult?
No, that wasn't the reason as far as that's concerned. When I went back 4 years ago, it was for a family reunion, as I mentioned. And the reason that I didn't go was, of course, work, as I said. But I was in a good place, in terms of that. Because the last time I went back with a different mindset, accept it as it is, be really cool with it, and not judge it or compare it to Arizona or Scottsdale, and just be there. And so I was able to do that. This time I went back and I was even more conscious and present with how I experienced Tennessee and experienced my family and my friends. And years ago, all the reasons over the last 30 years why I didn't go back is because I just didn't think my hometown had much to offer me. I know family was there and I love my family. I just kind of, created this story that the town is, Memphis is slow, they're not progressive, they're not open-minded. I really bought into this story that my mind was telling me about it. And I'm sure I could find plenty of evidence of that to be true. But it was more internally, I'd made a shift over the years, and especially over the last 4 years.
Yeah, but that shift, one of the things that you've done is that you've worked so hard on looking at your motivations for doing different things and trying to tame your ego and trying to manage things that are sort of acting out about things that you can't change, those things are under control now. Was there something that was a little bit difficult for you to overcome when you went back, or did you find that it was pretty smooth given the work you've done?
Most recently?
Yeah.
Oh, this trip, it was absolutely amazing.
Oh, tell us about that. What made it amazing?
Well, first of all the rituals that you and I and Tim do every single day, with the gratitude ritual that we do every morning that only takes a few seconds, to reading and being in silent meditation for a few minutes, to the exercise and podcasts and just all those things that we've been doing over the last 3.5 years consistently every single day. Those paid off because what they did was clear all the distractions, the reasons and considerations why I can't go, the monkey mind thinking about why the trip wouldn't be a great trip or wonderful, like the flight is going to be late, or this family member is going to do this, or so-and-so is going to be late, or the bed won't be soft enough, just all of that noise and nonsense. I was free of all of that, so there was no distractions. And so that was the first thing that was great. And then I went in with this acceptance. So in a spirit of kindness and gratitude. So I'll tell you just a few things that happened right off the bat. And I think it's best summed up with a question that I received when I got back. One of our friends, Carla, asked me, she's like, so Keith, you went back to Tennessee. I'm sure you had a great trip. Tell me, what did people say about you? Were they impressed with your fitness level? Were they impressed with the way you eat and things like that? What do they think? And I said, as far as my fitness level, I look the same that I look now for over 20 years. So my whole family's used to my fitness level, getting up, going to the gym early in the morning, so there's nothing new there to see. And regarding my eating, I've been vegetarian for 14 years, so I've gone back, 3 or 4 times over the last 14 years, so they're used to the way I eat. So that wasn't it. You know what it was that they said?
I'm anxious to hear.
It said how kind and thoughtful I am. Like that was what they said.
Oh, wow.
And I was really blown away by those were the things that stuck out to them, because I felt like I was kind and thoughtful before.
Wow.
And what the epiphany for me is that while I opened car doors for my mom, and that's a funny story, I'll tell you about that. Opened car doors for my mom, and I picked up the tab and we would go to restaurants, or I would buy groceries and do all those things. And I was very thoughtful in that way. What was in all the energy that I was doing, that I had with all the doing that I was doing, was this judging about the city, about the people, complaining about traffic, complaining about the weather, trying to improve my brother with some of the choices he's made in life and where he is. Like, that was the cloud around all the doing I was doing, all the things that I was doing. So my family definitely, will go back and like, oh yeah, Keith did buy groceries. He said thank you and he said please. He did all those things, open car doors. But that's not the first thing that comes to mind. What the first thing comes to mind is this toxic energy about complaining and judging, having everybody on a schedule, on an agenda like that. I was free of that.
Yeah, and that's the first time they've seen you that role.
That's the first time they've seen me, and being quite honest with you, it's the first time I've been that way. It started 3.5 years ago when we started these daily rituals, so I've been free of it. So for people that are around me almost every day, they may notice it, but it's pretty kind of the norm. But for family who hasn't seen me like that before, it's really been like my whole life I've had that kind of energy. And so they're like, man, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So a funny story was,
that's very cool.
I know, so I have this thing that I really kind of got leverage over, and it's a judging thing to where it's always running and scanning, and I'm looking how things could or should be better. And it's from the weather, or it's from life, or politics, or whatever, and especially people, and the people I'm closest to. So my brother has made quite a few choices in his life. Let's just say he's no stranger to law enforcement, okay? And not exactly the right side of it. And so the way that I would show up for my brother would be how his life is not like it should be. Here's an idea about how to fix it, and trying to get him to fix it or help him fix it. So it's all about improving him. So and telling him what he should do better, and just all those things. So we're coming out of the store, and I'm opening the door for my mom as we get into the car. The three of us are traveling somewhere, and I'm driving, or my mom is driving. So my brother, the first couple of times, said, "Man, look at Keith, like opening a door. What is this? What is he, some kind of gentleman?" And I'm saying thank you and please for everything. You know, I ask a question like, "Hey, you know, what time would you guys like to eat?" They'll answer the question, say thank you. I'm saying please for everything. So no matter what, I'm always saying thank you and please. Those are probably the phrases that they've heard the most while I was there. And so my brother's like, "Man, he's like super polite. Like, what is this? Like, who is this guy?" Now, mind you, I say thank you and please. I've always done that my whole life, and I've always opened car doors for women. But again, I told you, this judgment and trying to improve, you know, people has always overshadowed that kind of kindness that I bring to the table.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, my ego goes, "Well, Kevin, you're sitting on you're on the passenger side in the back seat. Why aren't you opening the door?" The old me would have been like, "You should be opening the door. I'm walking around opening the door for mom, like you open the door, and then you're going to, make a joke up about me." But the new me didn't do any of that. I didn't even notice he wasn't, opening the door and doing all this other stuff. So day 3, and I'm there for a week. Day 3, we're approaching the car. I go around to open the door. He's like, "No, man, I got it."
Ah, very cool.
Now, what's interesting about that is the old me would have been telling him to do it. This time, I just did it, and he modeled the behavior.
Wow.
So that was an epiphany for me, was that of all the years of trying to tell him what to do and how to improve his life, he came to it on his own, and I just held the space for him to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no stake in whether he did it or not. This is who I am.
2 takeaways from that I think are really powerful. The first one is once you went to the extent of letting go of all the judgment and being conscious of the fact that you are likely to be back home and judging people that you've always judged, and you let go of that, that was a situation where that allowed you to open up in a way that you probably hadn't opened up to those people in years, maybe ever.
Yeah.
And then the second takeaway is that once you let control go, once you let the idea that you have to be responsible for people and let it just happen, accept them the way that they are, things start to happen. Sometimes they're not good, but often they're really good, like with your brother opening the door.
It was fantastic, and just went to it the first day I got there. 2 weeks leading up to that point, maybe a month, my mom wanted to make sure I was very comfortable. I helped my mom out, financially support her, and things like that. And so, but it's a small thing that I'm doing for all that she's given me. And she's like, "Hey, Keith, I'm going to get a mattress for the guest bedroom for you. I'll make it all up." And so I found myself trying to help, but also control that situation. I didn't know it was control. I thought I was kind of doing a good thing, but I wasn't really conscious. And so she said, "Hey, listen, just pick out a mattress that you like. I have a friend here who owns a furniture store. We'll order the mattress. I go and look in Arizona." So I said, okay. I went to go look, and I found one, and we set a budget. And I thought, hey, why don't we buy a more expensive mattress? That way, if it's better than the one she has on her bed, she can just take it, and she'll have a mattress forever. And she kept insisting, like, "No, I just want to do it this way. I found a mattress for $99, and it's going to be fine." And I was like, "And Keith, if you don't like it, we can talk to my friend. They'll come pick this one up, and then we'll get you another one." Now, in my mind, I'm like, I haven't slept on too many comfortable $99 mattresses. But I kept saying, "No, I'll go out and get a mattress." Like, "No, Keith," she's like, "No," my mom's really sweet. She's like, "No, just see if you don't like it first." So I felt myself trying to say, why are we going to waste that time? And let me just take care of this, and then we don't have to do that again when I get there. But I just kind of like listened in a way that I hadn't before, and I said, okay. Because what I learned is I would have been robbing her of the opportunity to do something special for me. Like, that's what she wanted to do.
No doubt.
And I would have been robbing her of that. So I got there, and she made up this room for me, and it was, the bed was comfortable. She got a special foam to protect it, foam to go on top of it, a cushion, and it was just really a special thing. And every night, the first night she would come in, and every night thereafter, she would come in and ask me, because she had, there's one central air conditioning unit, but it's in the front part of the house, so the rest of the house gets warm. In the room I'm in, there's no air conditioning, so she's kind of like trying to channel it in and pipe it in from the front room. And so she got a ton of fans there. She went out and bought a fan, just to make sure that I was comfortable. And so she'd come in every night and say, Keith, you okay? Is everything all right? Are you comfortable?
Nice.
And man, I just started to cry because all this thoughtfulness and kindness, all the trouble she went to make sure that I was comfortable. And I just saw this everywhere I went. I saw neighbors from my childhood who played a big role in raising me and instilling certain values that I still hold today, and how they were kind with their time and their attention and coming out of their homes, to meet me when I drove up, and just everywhere I looked, I saw nothing but kindness, and I would not have seen that before. So really overcoming my past and how I would have shown up. And Tennessee and Memphis is the same.
That's right.
I'm different.
Yeah, and you are different. The other thing that is really important with this is I think it points up the idea behind the law of attraction. You will attract what you put out in the world. It's not the idea that you're going to be constantly wishing for things and hoping they show up and you're attracting them by your thinking of them. It's being the kind of person that you want to be that will attract other things in your life that make you more complete and more fulfilled and more enlightened and more capable of giving love and returning love. I think all of that happened to you this trip.
It did, Rick. There wasn't a moment that I just wasn't filled with, just gratitude and just practicing presence. And I remember the old me, I'd get up and go to the gym and I would be complaining about, I'm the only one here who works out, so there's this superiority thing that comes out, right? I'm better than everybody, I'm superior. None of that showed up. I was just, the people at the gym, I was able to see them without comparing myself to them. I went up to a couple guys who were in really great shape and acknowledged them for the way they work out and their form, things that I would do here in Arizona, but things I would not have seen. I wouldn't even notice these guys before, and if I would have, there'd have been complete judgment about it. Or some kind of comment, like, the mind loves to comment on everything. And so mine certainly does. And it was just none of that, man. Family and friends just really showed up for me when I went back. I have 40-something cousins, maybe more, and 4 of them went out of their way to come and see me and to show up and just say hello, and I really appreciate it. Neighbors drove, they came the next day, came out to my mom's home, which is about an hour away, to see me, and it was just kindness all over the place. My brother and I have had a great relationship. Like, he's been unconditionally loving to me since day one. I've said in some past podcasts that I was not the same with him, and I just really appreciated the kindness and the grace he gave me when I tried to apologize to him about it. And he commented to my mom, like, man, I love having my brother around. I love Keith. And while he started before, he would have never said that, because I was difficult to be around, because every single second of the day, I'm trying to improve him, or my energy is one of judging him. And this time, we're laughing about his run-ins with the law. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, that's so funny. Like, you were 5 miles away from from getting into the next state border. And then he's like, yeah, Keith, man, they got this thing that, we were driving down, from Tennessee, and I was like, I saw we passed this state patroller, and the guy was speeding. I'm telling him not to speed. He's in my car. I'm telling him not to speed, and he's speeding. And we got 5 miles. He's like, man, we got to get across this border. But, they have this thing that, that state trooper has 5 miles of jurisdiction into the next state. So we had to actually get to mile 6 to where we couldn't get caught by this guy, because he's calling ahead and saying, listen, I need jurisdiction for 5 miles to get in. And I'm like, who knows those kind of facts unless you've got a few run-ins with the law. Now, here's the thing. We were to laugh about it, whereas before I'm like, man, look at the company you keep. What are you doing? And all this. Like, I didn't do any of that. I just enjoyed the story, learned a fact in case I ever get on that side of the law. Like, it might save me, Yeah. So just those things, it was just, it's just an amazing experience, man. One of the richest experiences I've had with my family, and I'm just super grateful.
Yeah, at your age too. That's surprising when you get to be middle-aged. Usually, the experiences that you have, good or bad, are things that continue to run you the rest of your life.
Right.
I want to acknowledge you for how important that was for you to do that work And to
Thank
get
you.
that kind of love back after you've given out so much, but not expecting it. You just
No.
doing it because you wanted to feel better about yourself and because that's who you are right now.
Oh, thank you, Rick. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, those are the ways that I was able to overcome my past as it relates to my family in Tennessee, specifically, and more, I guess, big picture or figuratively, it would be overcoming those emotions and traits that were undermining me being peaceful, happy, loving, and kind.
Yeah, another way to say that is that the peaceful, loving, and kindness overrides whatever the experience might be.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that you focus on, and you have that ability. We all have the ability to make a choice about how we want to feel about things, and we can continue to judge. That's always open. That's always an option for us, and we're sort of pre-wired to do that anyway. That's their way of coping with danger, judging it, deciding whether it's good or bad, and taking action.
Right.
And to overcome that, to override that, takes a lot of effort as a human being. But the payoff is huge.
It's huge.
Because it creates space for love. It creates space for feeling calm and peaceful and enjoy and having an enjoyment of your life that you normally wouldn't have, and the enjoyment of other people.
Totally.
You know, when you take the burden away from somebody having to be a certain way to make you happy, man, things roll slick, you know? It really is a lot smoother.
It's a lot smoother.
Yeah, if only you were more like me, it would be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if you can let go of that and just accept the other person, it's really, as you say, a rich experience,
Yes.
a very rich experience. And I think the ultimate payoff is that you're at a place in your life, in your heart, where you are smooth and calm and unfazed. And again, that white light that stays inside of you remains lit and not
Right.
dampened.
Yeah.
We tend to make these judgments we think are helping us. In the end, they're dimming that light that needs to stay bright.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, I think that's what the work of the last 3.5 years has been for me, is to eliminate the distractions and the clouds that were covering up that light, that were obscuring it. And man, like you said, the payoff was just tremendous, man. It was incredible. I was not in wherever I am at the moment is where I want to be. Like, I've learned that. So I wasn't thinking ahead, like I can't wait to get to Tennessee, or in the past when I've gone to Tennessee, I've always been like, man, I can't wait to get back to Arizona and get home. I wasn't like that. I was happy to the last very moment that I was in Tennessee. And when I got here, I was happy to be here. So wherever I am, I'm happy, and I'm really understanding that as long as I continue to cultivate loving kindness and gratitude, acceptance, that peace will be there. And what I care most about is eliminating suffering and being peaceful.
The key is, as you say, the key is not place. No matter where you go, there you are. So you first have to manage yourself, and whether you're in Tennessee or you're in Cambodia or you're in Arizona, that should be the same. You can still be excited about seeing new things and maybe be disappointed about losing your luggage, but those are things that are transitory, that don't affect your soul and your insides. I love this show, man.
Thank you, man.
That was very, very touching for me to hear.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well,
thanks for sharing.
Well, and thank you for being interested. I really appreciate it, man.
Anything this guy does, I'm interested in. It's amazing. He's
Man.
on such a great path.
So next time we have to talk about you overcoming in the past.
Oh, I don't have any past. I was born like a year ago, and this is how I popped out. So I'm learning from you.
Okay.
That's cool.
Well, hopefully I'm a good teacher.
Oh, man,
Okay.
the best, absolutely.
I love you, man.
I love you too.
Thanks, sure.
Adios.